Ayo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. It's a White Sox winner here in the CHGO White Sox postgame show. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is the CHGO White Sox community leader, Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. Follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. It's a 3-1 winner, Herb Lawrence. How'd that one feel for you?
Felt great because of how hard the Boston Red Sox were hitting and how many base runners they were getting off of Giolito early in the game. And I said, okay, this guy doesn't have his best stuff, but he's battling through, and our team can't hit worth a damn versus Rich Hill. So to get a victory out of all that started before the 5th inning feels awesome. Feels great.
And it's another 3-run victory for the White Sox, another victory where they score 3 runs and get the win. This is from the great Chris Kamka at C Kamka on Twitter. White Sox win 3-1. It's the 25th time out of 43 games scoring 3 or fewer. Games with 3 or fewer runs scored this season. White Sox are 11-14 in those games. The rest of the MLB is 139 and 469. The White Sox have a win percentage of in games where they score 3 runs or fewer of 44%. The rest of the MLB 22.9.
That's amazing. I mean, that's not ideal. You don't want to continue to do that, but you know that starting pitchers are going to give you a chance to win most every game. All you need to do is give them 4 runs and 3 runs. You're winning 11 out of 25? Jesus, that's way too much. That's how teams are resilient. That's how championship teams are win games when you don't have a lot, especially with the offense. And then you can squeak by because your pitching is just so superior. And defense. We get on defense enough here. But the pirouette throw by Tim Anderson in the 8th inning off of Kendall Graveman was pitching at that time. Or no, it was Liam Hendricks pitching at that time. And then also Yoan Moncada to start the 9th inning. Mercy.
He had a double play as well, I think, in to end the 5th inning or something like that. Ball hit down the line. He steps on third. Double clutched it. I think Story was running up the line, but still got a nice clean throw off. Very nice defensive game. Andrew Vaughn was diving out in right field. My heart dropped to my feet when he did that, but he got up, which was the good thing. So a very great defensive effort from the White Sox. And yeah, that's, part of the reason why they won today. Great pitching and great defense.
And the end of the game, that kind of scared me. I know all White Sox fans are kind of holding their breath where Josh Harrison from second base is sprinting out to the right field, where I think Andrew Vaughn is calmly camped underneath the ball. And Josh kind of runs into Andrew Vaughn while he catches the ball. That ball, of course, is the outfielder's ball. Even though Andrew Vaughn is not a seasoned outfielder, he knows that he was in the right there. And they collided a little bit, and then Josh tried to make up by trying to hug Andrew, and Andrew didn't look like he was having any of that. He's like, hey, man, come on now. I know I'm not the greatest outfielder, but I can catch a pop fly, brother. Don't be coming out here sprinting and causing commotion. Luckily, he sealed the victory, got the win, and we don't need that more from Josh Harrison. We need him to calm the hell down when he's out there and then he's running into outfielders, because they collided back in the day in Cleveland, and that took Josh Harrison a couple days on the IL for him when he got a shoulder problem.
And I just saw a video of it too, of the replay. Patrick Nolan posted it, and there is no calling of the ball by Andrew Vaughn. So I think that's part of it too. It didn't look like Josh Harrison had a call to be called off of. So I really don't think that was good communication by Andrew Vaughn. And it's just another play where, he's not a defender. He's not an outfielder. And I think we just see that each game we see Andrew Vaughn. out in the outfield. We got our guy Eli Stein hanging out in the chat. He says Sox Berger win. Neil says pitching is helpful. Ain't that the truth? Fred says Rich Hill was throwing up meatballs up there, and the Sox decided to hit them into the dirt over and over again. Yeah, they really didn't have a plan, and we'll get into that a little bit more. And Greg from CHGO Blackhawks is hanging out. He says, hello, boys. And Josh asks, are White Sox fans allowed to have easy, carefree wins? They're not, Herb. Again, 11 and 14 in games where they scored 3 runs or less. It was pretty just insufferable to watch the first 4 innings. And thankfully there was that 5th inning. But you look outside of the 5th inning, you look through innings, 1 through 4, and then innings 6 through 9 or 6 through 8, no runs in those innings. So another frustrating game offensively for the Sox. Thankfully, Jake Berger was there to save the day. But outside of that, a frustrating game to watch again for the White Sox offense.
Yeah, I don't know what their plan was versus Rich Hill. He was throwing those lollipops up there, and it's probably tough. I mean, Tim struck out on the 3rd pitch that was thrown to him. It was pretty much like a gotcha pitch because Tim's probably looking for something slow, and he throws an 89-mile-per-hour dotted fastball chest high that got him in the 1st inning. So, yeah, that was not a poor at bat. It was just a bat that he wasn't waiting for or wasn't ready for. I just think that Rich Hill is a kind of a weird pitcher to get ready for because his slow, and then slowest pitches are like off major league radars. And then he does a good job of dotting and using the ball on both sides, getting the eye levels on the top of the zone and the bottom of the zone. And that curveball, man, I mean, that's a thing to see. It looks like a lollipop, and you think you should be able to hit that hard. But we saw he was inducing a lot of soft contact for the White Sox because they were in between his 89-mile-per-hour fastball and his like 75-mile-per-hour curveball.
And it was really impressive to see just because he's 42 years old. I know people are like, oh man, that's Rich Hill going up there and he's 40 years old throwing up and just confusing White Sox hitters, but he's just doing his job. And that's, part of the game that I love, or part of the reason I love baseball is, Rich Hill was bounced out of baseball and then figured out a way to stick and keep the dream alive. That was really damn cool to see. So I just like seeing Rich Hill succeed. And you can see, Dallas Keuchel, you don't need to have that crazy stuff to, dominate or have good outings. We've seen Johnny Cueto, his past 2 outings. That's been really cool to see. And kind of these older guys, Adam Wainwright, have that success just because that command's still there. You don't need to have 99 to be blowing people out of the water. And an old friend, Herb, King E, showing up in the comments. So I want to give a shout out to him, and he's still spelling my name wrong, but I appreciate him because I still know him back from the days. So that's good to see King E showing up, spelling it SHAWN.
The correct way.
It's all up. Let's go to Rich Hill. You mentioned the strikeout of Tim Anderson in the first at bat. It was the first time Anderson struck out looking all season. He struck out looking 11 times in 2019 and 12 times in 2021. That's from James Fegan. That's also only the 3rd time this year in 28 plate appearances. This is from Alex Spire of the Boston Globe, where he struck out against lefties. So, this is a very rare occurrence to see Tim Anderson striking out. And it's just really, the Rich Hill special, using great command, fastball right down the middle to open up the plate appearance. Then he goes curveball on the outside. Then he goes curveball low, gets Tim in an 0-2 count, and then just dots a fastball, like you said, inner corner on the plate. And that's Rich Hill's success, is his ability just to locate. And you can hear him, just like Liam Hendriks, swearing at himself when he has a bad pitch. This is a guy that has been pitching, as we talked about it in the pregame, for over 20 years at the professional level. Only 6 active players still in the major leagues from the 2022 draft. Rich Hill is one of them, and just proving that, you don't need to have that crazy overpowering stuff. You just need a couple funky arm angles and the ability to locate a curveball as a lefty. And it was really fun stuff to see in the first 4 innings. And I thought we were going to get a repeat of his game when he was a Dodger out in Pittsburgh, where he took a no-hitter into the 10th inning. Josh Harrison broke that one up. So yeah, it was real impressive.
Yeah, he gave up 2 hits, the double by Jose Abreu to lead off the 5th, and the rocket home run by Jake Berger. That was the hardest hit ball of the evening. So you take that as a Boston fan. If you love the team of the Red Sox, you'll take what Rich Hill gave you today. He was throwing no-hit ball, and it was, I think, up until the 4th inning, had faced the minimum when he walked Reese McGuire, got the GIDP immediately from Harrison, who I think only saw 3 pitches the whole goddamn game. Like, take a pitch, brother. I know he went 1 for 3, got that single at the last at bat, but calm down, take a pitch, enjoy the game, ingest it a little bit. But 3 pitches and 3 at bats, that's a little too much. But yeah, Rich Hill with the awesome performance there. His stuff was good. He only had 1 strikeout, which was the first one we showed you on the board right there. But the White Sox were not hitting him hard. We're not seeing him except for that Jose Abreu rocket double and then the home run by Jake Berger. So you'll take that. And I was so frustrated that we weren't getting anything off of him. There was got to be something else. Like when he walked Reese McGuire, I was like, okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the next pitch, you got to know if you're Josh Harrison. And you were right in the pregame to note that Josh Harrison is the one who broke up his no-hitter back in the day in extra innings when Hill was a Dodger and Harrison was a Pirate. But he's got to know that Rich Hill's a veteran. And he got to know that he just walked a guy. So take a pitch, maybe. Also, right. He's going to get you to try to induce you to what he did, a GIDP. Take a pitch. Enjoy the game. See what he's going to be offering. And then do what you did in the 8th inning. Take the ball the other way. Serve it. Instead of just grounding it right to what Rich Hill wants to do. It's just the game plan right there. I just don't understand it. He was rolling to that point, and Josh Harrison just allows him to do what he wanted to do right there. But yeah, Rich, I got to tip the cap. He was pretty good.
Yeah,
but we got a better guy.
Yeah, very good. We did have the better guy today. Let's just talk a little bit more about Rich Hill before we go into Lucas Giolito. Let's look at the balls in play and how he had it working today. And also you can look to there's we have another one too about the exit velocities. I want to look at this one first, just the pitching map. We'll go to look at the pitching map first.
There it is.
You can see the White Sox, I mean, for the most part, they were pretty good at attacking pitches in the zone. And that's what Rich Hill wanted him to do. He was getting called strikes consistently. I think through the first 9 batters, he had a first pitch strike. So he was getting ahead in counts, and he was consistently just making sure that contact was being made by the Sox in the zone and poorly. And let's go now to the exit velocities and all this stuff. Only 2 balls hit over 95 miles per hour for the Sox. Yohan Moncada had a ground out, and this is just against Rich Hill. Yohan Moncada had a 99 mile per hour ground out against Rich Hill in the 1st inning. And then the 5th inning, Jake Berger hit his 110 mile per hour home run off a 67 mile per hour Rich Hill slider. So that was fun to see. But yeah, it's just frustrating. And, this is another instance of a veteran having their way with the White Sox lineup. And that's why I worry tomorrow about Michael Wacha going up against the White Sox, a right-handed pitcher who is a veteran that knows how to locate first pitch strikes and knows that this is an over-aggressive team. And I'm happy to see that all the balls that they're swinging at and putting in play against Rich Hill are in the actual zone. They're not expanding that zone, but it's not a real designated zone that they're attacking, right? It's all over that strike zone, and they're expanding a little bit. So it's not the most patient approach from the White Sox. Only 1 K for Rich Hill today against the White Sox, but also only 1 walk and 2 walks in the game in total. That's the 26th game this year that they've had 2 or less walks. So, I mean, that's pretty rough. Over half of your games, you've had less than 2 walks.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. Like scoring 3 runs, and this is a victory, so we're happy. But scoring 3 runs, only getting 5 hits in a Major League Baseball game is not acceptable. This is not what the White Sox were built on. This team should be hitting more than they hit. And if you can't hit Rich Hill, then how do you expect to hit Garrett Cole? How do you expect to hit Justin Verlander and all the rest of the top pitchers in the American League? These guys, you should be able to get a little bit more hits or walks. One of the 2 things. He wasn't striking out a ton, as Sean said, only that 1 strikeout to Tim Anderson, and he wasn't walking anybody. He only walked 1 guy, the Reese McGuire walk. So there's got to be a better game plan, because it seemed like, and I don't know what happened to Yohan Moncada. I do not know what's happening.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
He is just so frustrating right now. The glove plays still, but the bat and the misses, 2 strikeouts today. Just lost versus Tanner Houck. Lost completely. But the White Sox offense needs a better game plan. They need something that is different than what they've been doing, because they've been averaging 3.5 runs for this season. Scoring 3 today, I didn't think was going to get the job done. The only reason we won is because number 27's out there doing the damn thing.
Well, and we got Vinnie Duber going to join us from Guaranteed Rate Field. Final thing on Rich Hill, there is a Jake Berger thing of balls in play, and just the Jake Berger at bat, he ends up hitting a 67-mile-per-hour slider out 110 miles per hour. And the thing is, too, the second pitch of the at bat, 67-mile-per-hour slider, low and in the side, and then third pitch, same exact spot, same exact pitch. Jake Berger hit a mistake, and that's exactly what the White Sox needed, and it put them over the top. So, I mean, they're going to be happy with that at the end of the day, that they hit one mistake, and it was luckily two guys on to give them the 3-1 win. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. That's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we can help you out. I could show off a shirt right now. Look at this, my CHGO pocket flag shirt. It's real nice. It's real cozy. I recommend you picking one up, and this is a fantastic, fantastic deal if you want to help support CHGO. Online signup is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Again, use code CHGO when you sign up. And if you deposit $50 or more, your first time depositing with PointsBet using code CHGO, you'll get $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO locker. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1s because I started this job, and I started a full-time job. I needed to start waking up, having a routine each and every morning, and I wake up to this great product that doesn't taste super healthy. It kind of has a mild tropical taste that I look forward to each and every morning. With one delicious scoop of AG1, I absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help me start my day right. It's a special blend of ingredients that help support my gut health, my nervous system, my immune system, my energy, my ability to recover, my ability to focus, and my aging process. Let's slow down this aging process.
24-year-old.
Important things. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto friendly, paleo friendly, vegan, dairy free, or gluten free. And Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, 7,002 with Herb and I's 5-star review of Athletic Greens. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water each and every day. That's it. No need for millions of different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a 1-year free of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Sox. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO SOX to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Hi, Vinny.
Hey, so I was going to come on here and question why Herb was so sullen. I thought maybe I was watching a different game that the White Sox didn't win, but I instead am going to call out Herb for being Herbie LaRussa again with his phone going off during the ad read, because what was Tony doing? What was Tony's phone doing the entire time we were talking to him after the game tonight, going off? I'm sure, you're going to see it all over Twitter, I would imagine. NBC Sports will blast it out. Tony answering his phone during the press conference and saying he's got to call the person back. But, so there's a viral moment waiting to happen. But there you go. Man. Herbie LaRussa.
That's why we clash, because we're too much alike. Old men can't turn their phones off during the interviews.
And that's why I would call you Uncle Herb. And so, I mean, what was the action there? I mean, kind of take us through here. I mean, you ask a question, and then Tony gets a phone call. There's no rule here. Phones off when you walk into the media room.
Well, so let's just put it this way. Not to say that it's a good thing or a bad thing or whatever, but we have grown accustomed to what Tony's text tone is. So we heard that a couple times. And then it actually rang. We got to hear his ringtone again, another, whatever comes on your iPhone kind of thing. But and he answered the phone in the middle of the post-game presser and just said, going to have to call you right back. And he was right.
I can't wait to see this. That's great. All right. Well, then talking about Tony, what do you think of his team's effort? Obviously a big 5th inning with a Jake Berger home run, but no runs in innings 1 through 4 and 6 through 8. What do you think of his team's offensive effort tonight?
I mean, he complimented Jake Berger. You know what I mean? That's really about it. You know, he was very happy with the pitching. He kept talking about Lucas, obviously, but the bullpen too. Used the term clutch pitches, and I think that really was kind of a constant need for the White Sox tonight with so many guys on base for Boston. You know, you didn't only see it from Lucas. You saw it over and over again from Lucas, but you got to see it from the bullpen too. You know, Kendall Graveman, I think of him coming in there in relief of Aaron Bummer, and then obviously what Liam Hendricks did in relief of Joe Kelly there in the eighth inning. So yeah, clutch pitching, and listen, that's what gets it done. And you know, Herb, I think when I turned it on, you go, you know, 3 runs, 5 hits, that's not going to cut it. Yeah, a lot of nights it's not, but a lot of nights it will. And when you get the pitching that the White Sox got tonight, not necessarily the, you know, overpowering stuff, you know, the kind of, you know, million strikeouts that we've come accustomed to seeing from some of these guys, Lucas Giolito included, but effective pitching that got the job done, even if it wasn't so pretty. And that's what you got from the White Sox tonight. To hold this red hot Red Sox team to only 1 run over 9 innings, a big deal, I think. And that's worth complimenting for this staff.
Yeah, it's huge that Lucas Giolito did what he did. He had multiple runners on all 4 of the first innings. And so him to wiggle out that with only 1 run scored was amazing. Did he talk about his stuff and his command and control? Because it seemed like he didn't have it, but still he's Lucas Giolito, and he finds a way to get the job done eventually.
Yeah, he said he didn't have it pretty much from the get-go, and I think he said at one point he didn't even know where his fastball was going to go. That's how bad it was tonight for him, or I shouldn't say bad, I should just say unusual, you know, atypical, that kind of thing. But he was happy with the results, obviously, but he was treating it as a night when, man, he didn't get what he wanted to get. And, it's almost interesting because a night like tonight, you see guys get complimented. Usually it's like, oh man, he didn't have his stuff, but he was able to only allow 1 run. He was able to make it 6 innings despite the high pitch count early. And I think that there was definitely some pride in being able to make some of the pitches that he did make. But, these guys, especially the younger guys, are everything has to work. It's about, executing pitches every single time and stuff like that. And very clearly he wasn't able to do that tonight, but the results were the same as we've seen on nights when he was able to do that. And, I think one thing that he said was, a few years ago, back when he was the worst pitcher in baseball, it wouldn't necessarily have turned out the way it did tonight. It could have snowballed on him pretty easily, but he has since left those days behind, and he is able to do what he did tonight, which is very impressive in its own right, even if it's not something maybe that he's going to be putting on his personal highlight reel.
Yeah, I mean, the worst pitcher in baseball when he was that didn't have this slider. 9 whiffs on his slider tonight. I don't know if he mentioned just the help that pitch gave him, because obviously the fastball wasn't there. He was having a tough time locating that, but it felt like the slider was working for him. Did he mention anything about that?
It's it's something that we've seen over the course of his career, and something that adding pitches, refining pitches, making his arsenal more unpredictable, or maybe not necessarily unpredictable, but just tougher to hit. And I think that we always talk about going from a thrower to going to a pitcher. That's something that it needs to click at one point, but it's not necessarily something that stops. And I think that a guy like Lucas is a great example of that development. Keep going, even once you figure it out, even once you make the all-star team, it's not just all right, and that's the guy you're going to be forever. You can keep developing, continue to kind of refine that arsenal, refine that whole, that whole pitching thing that you got going on, and become even more effective or differently effective than you were the year before, which obviously makes it tougher for opposing hitters to figure you out. So, we're in the midst right now of maybe Dylan Cease taken off in that way, or Michael Kopech in the early stages of that development. It's not something that's just like, all right, you're done cooking in the minor leagues, come on up and be the guy you're going to be for the next 15 years. It's a continued process, and it works to their advantage, and you're seeing that from Lucas.
We saw Joe Kelly leave the game. Very, very, very sad to see, because it just came back from the IL. Any update on what Joe Kelly is suffering from right now?
No update yet. I would expect that tomorrow after he gets reevaluated. It didn't look great. I can say that, coming off the mound. And making some faces and walking gingerly. That's not something you ever want to see.
Mm-mm.
Tony was asked about it after the game and kind of joked, "Oh man, you're raining on my parade," or not necessarily the reporter asking the question, but just the situation raining on the parade of a win tonight and of Joe, like you mentioned, kind of getting into the rhythm a little bit, like he was trying to do after coming off the IL. So we'll see. But there's a reason that back end of that bullpen has as many arms as it does, and it's to kind of weather things like this that might happen with Kelly. But like you said, we'll see tomorrow.
And you were able to talk to Rick Hahn on Monday, and we talked a little bit about it after last night's game, but you just wrote a piece on allchgo.com. You could become a member at allchgo to read Vinny's great work, and you talked to Rick Hahn, and he mentioned that they have an embarrassment of riches at the pitching depth with Michael Kopech with his current performance. He's been great. Johnny Cueto, Dallas Keuchel, Vince Velasquez, and Reynaldo Lopez now pumping 100 out of the bullpen. What is the depth like, or how do they view their depth? Because obviously Joe Kelly would be a huge loss for them, but I think that we can look, Matt Foster's been good in high leverage roles. Kendall Graveman's been good in high leverage roles. Liam Hendricks has been good in high leverage roles. So it's not the biggest blow if Joe Kelly goes down. How do they view their pitching depth?
Yeah, I mean, I think you do it on a couple different fronts, right? Because there is the starting pitching depth, and then what you've got in the bullpen. Obviously, the pitching's been generally great for this White Sox team this year. I don't think really anybody can complain much outside of maybe Dallas Keuchel, not necessarily bouncing back the way he would have liked or the team would have liked. Outside of that, you really can't complain about much with what this pitching staff has done, either in the rotation or in the bullpen. I think the rotation is very interesting at the moment. You've got Michael Kopech out there dominating. I mean, guys, the numbers say he's one of the best starting pitchers in baseball right now, and I don't know if any of us expected that to be the case when the season started. But there was so much focus on that workload management plan, and you're seeing it in action, right? I mean, the way that that the probables are lined up, the earliest he'll pitch again is next Tuesday in Toronto, and so that'd be 8 days between starts. I mean, that's not something you generally see from a guy who is just cooking at the moment. But this is how they're going to do this. It's not a thing where it's like, all right, the watch says Michael Kopech has to come out after 5 because we've only got X innings left on the calendar for him this year. It's very much going to be a go with the flow kind of thing. And if he's going to be out there dominating the Yankees for 7 innings, they got to keep him in for 7 innings. They've got to do something else to kind of make up for that. And that's what I think you're going to see. And that is one way in which this thing is going to be interesting for a while. Lance Lynn is probably not going to be back until mid-June, it looks like. And that's not a setback or anything like that. They need to build up his pitch count. 3 outings probably at the minimum in Charlotte for him, and that's going to start this weekend. But that's 15 days, right? I mean, you need the day you start and then the 4 days of rest after each one. So it's looking maybe June 13th would be maybe the earliest that he would be back. So when he comes back, what are you going to do? Yeah, Dallas Keuchel is the guy who's not performing right now necessarily, but he comes with a pretty big price tag if you're going to just ask him to go away. Maybe they don't have to do that as soon as the minute Lance Lynn comes back. Maybe they do, but those off days and spacing out Kopech and the double headers that are on the schedule, there's a lot of ways that they can utilize this starting staff. And I think that you've got 3 guys locked in right now. When Lance Lynn comes back, he'll be locked in as well. You got to see if Johnny Cueto keeps this up, but obviously he hasn't done anything to deserve to go anywhere. We've already seen Vince Velasquez move to the bullpen, and he was excellent in that role last night. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting, and I think Kopech's dominance. Lance Lynn should be expected to be very, very good when he comes back, just like he was last season. It could be a situation where in spring training, when Lance goes down, we're like, how is this rotation going to survive? They might have, too much good pitching on their hands. And that's something that, of course, Rick, Tony, Ethan Katz, they all say it's a good problem to have and good decisions to have to make.
We saw 2 different approaches today by our Cuban stars. A 3-hitter, Yoan Moncada, with poor at-bats pretty much all night long. And then awesome at-bats by our 4-hitter, Jose Abreu. Did Tony speak about the struggles of Yoan Moncada, or just Jose Abreu coming up to being the guy that he usually is at this time of the year?
Well, I can say that we've asked Tony, about Abreu in the recent past when Abreu was struggling from a number standpoint. And he said, he basically, intimated what everybody knew, which is you don't have to worry about Jose Abreu. And along the way, you could see from Jose that he was hitting the ball pretty well. He was hitting into some bad luck. And now that you've seen him add kind of that patience element, add the walks to the mix, as he said when we talked to him in Kansas City, that's helping him out. He's looking like Jose Abreu, which, again, it should be no surprise that he was going to end up looking like Jose Abreu. That's the kind of career he's had. As for Moncada, it'll continue to be a story because, he looks lost. He looks in a big-time funk at the plate right now. And as he continues to make good defensive plays, he's making positive contributions to this team. But he is expected to be a hitter in the top half of that lineup. And when the lineup in general is struggling to score runs, even on nights they win, Herb, like you pointed out earlier, it is not good that one of your key guys is kind of a hole in that lineup right now. And I think Yasmani Grandal kind of falls into that category as well at the moment. He didn't play tonight, but they need to reduce the number of guys that that are in a funk. And, right now to have two of your top five hitters in the lineup, batting 1 through 5, in that way is going to make it even more challenging for them to get out of to kind of break out offensively, which they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, I was quick to kind of crown him and say, oh, he's back, after the 2 home runs coming up from Charlotte. It has just been shocking the past 9 games with the lack of production. And then here comes Jake Berger coming up and hitting, basically the game-winning home run not replacement.
Not basically.
But not basically. Hit the game-winning home run. So it is just interesting. I mean, what does Jake Berger give to this team? What does he provide to this team? Because when he's been up here, he's been one of the most productive bats in the Sox lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, when everybody's going good, he shouldn't be one of the guys that you need to call on for regular playing time. But that's the value of him as a reserve is what he's been able to do, which is you point to him, you call his number, and he can come through. And I think that applies whether he's going to be a part of the reserve unit on the bench here in Chicago or if he's bouncing back and forth between Chicago and Charlotte. They can make that phone call when they need to, when Luis Robert goes on the injured list and say, hey, come on up to be a bat. We're going to plug you in there one night, and boom, he can contribute in a big time way like he did this evening. So what Jake Berger brings to the White Sox is a guy that doesn't need maybe to settle into a groove or get to have so much time to get his rhythm going, and that's a very valuable thing. A bench bat that you can call on and trust that he's going to be able to put together an at bat and come through with a big hit. So that's what you saw tonight. Moncada is maybe a little bit of the opposite, right? And obviously you look at that because he's an everyday guy, right? But he's maybe somebody who you need to just kind of weather this storm at the moment, because when he's on, he can produce with the best of them in this lineup. So, and
one thing that Sean and I will never do again is doubt Roger Bossert. Mercy, we looked at the radar and we're like, nope, they're not going to play. They're going to have to suspend this game. Lucas is going to be lost tonight, but if you ever see Roger Bossert walk in the halls, tell him that Herb Lawrence apologizes for ever doubting his great powers. But God damn, he knew exactly how to get this game in an exact time. He is just an expert.
I thought it was hilarious. If you remember last year, Roger was being honored for some number of years of service or something, one of the many accolades that he's earned in his legendary career. And the White Sox presented him with a golden rake. I believe actually Tony La Russa did. It was like, kind of a joke award thing though, but he went out there and handed it to him. And I had completely forgotten about this, but that happened last season. Today, I asked Tony, are they going to get the game in? Before the game, I asked him that, and he referred to Roger as Golden Rake Man. And I said, Tony, Golden Rake Man is a little clunkier of a nickname than the Sod Father. So I hope that doesn't stick, but no. It was very funny and had me going back and looking on Twitter to make sure that I remembered what the hell any of that was about. But yes, Roger Golden Rake Man Bossard was able to get tonight's game in.
I just tweeted Golden Rake Man and the picture of Golden Rake Man with said Golden Rake. And you delivered, my friend. I'm glad you brought up Golden Rake Man with Tony La Russa and his cell phone going up at the podium. Some people in the chat were talking about Josh Harrison. He had a single tonight, almost ran into Andrew Vaughn for the final out. People are, annoyed with maybe the lack of production also coming from second base. Just talking to Rick recently, any thoughts on, maybe some players that might be coming up? I know Lennon Sosa has been doing well in Birmingham. I know that Yolbert Sanchez has been doing well down in Charlotte. Any possibility that we might see a shakeup in Harrison getting off the roster, or any of these pieces that, veteran pieces being shaken up?
I mean, there's no indication that would happen. I don't think Rick would ever give an indication that would happen. That's not really his style. But yeah, I think, let's put it this way. They're trying to win the World Series. And so if they've got a guy down in the minor leagues that is doing well enough that they believe that he would be a better option than what they've got up here, then they're going to do that. You know what I mean? That being said, someone who has never played in the major leagues before succeeding in the minor leagues doesn't necessarily equal that they would be automatically better up here than what the White Sox have, which is Josh Harrison and Larry Garcia. So that doesn't seem to be the most likely course of action, but it certainly does not preclude that from happening. And one guy keeps going up and one guy keeps going down, then yeah, you're going to very well be able to see that happen. But Josh Harrison has a track record. Larry Garcia has a track record, and I think that kind of thing speaks well, at least before the trade deadline, right? And I think if this continues all the way into July, that level of production, then yeah, you're going to have to see a shakeup, because that's what your championship hopes are riding on, are those guys being able to produce. And if they have shown over the course of 3.5 months, more than half the season, that they're not going to be able to do that, then a shakeup is not just possible, it's necessary, right? So, but man, that's the second time that Andrew Vaughn has nearly killed Josh Harrison in the outfield this year. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whose fault it is. I would venture to say that the guy who has played infield for the last decade in the major leagues probably knows what he's doing out there a little bit more than the guy who just learned how to play outfield last year. But that's just a guess. Again, it seems like this whole team at times could very well benefit from just louder calling of the ball, right?
Just screaming.
Just, I got it. We need louder I got it. Is it just me? Does Luis Robert not say I got it? Is it just implied that he got it? And so that's why he's constantly almost crashing into everybody out there?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Vaughn, it looks like he doesn't call it at all. So it looked like just a lack of communication, not even a miscommunication, but a lack of communication. And when you have that happen, like it did in Cleveland, it's just tough to see it happen again.
Because you know who, although tonight we almost saw him run into Jose Abreu, but you know who almost never runs into an outfielder is Tim Anderson, because he always loud, I got it. And I've heard Harrison do the same thing in when you're sitting at the ballpark. I've heard Harrison do the same thing. So I don't know. I think that outfield maybe needs to work on their vocal skills a little bit more. We'll see.
Yeah,
that's just a guess.
Are we sure that Andrew Vaughn can speak? Because I've never heard him talk.
He can talk. He's not. He's a man of few words.
Okay.
Can he project though? He can talk, but can he project?
I got it.
Can he yell? You're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe he needs to turn the volume up on his personal volume needs to go up.
Maybe that's your gig for tomorrow. Just go and just record Andrew Vaughn's best yell. Just be like, hey, Andrew, just give me a quick yell. 5 seconds of just yelling into my phone.
It's like California cool.
That would be great. That would be just perfect. That's a lovely thing to do for our podcast listeners, is just have them pop their headphones in and just then play screaming for them. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all.
We'll give them a warning. 2 more for you, and then we'll get you out of here. Eloy Jimenez, we mentioned Lance Lynn, possibly, second week of June, third week of June coming back. Eloy Jimenez also, what's the timetable for his return?
Not a lot of specifics on that, but when Tony La Russa outlined that because they're both going to be going down to the minors on a rehab assignment at basically the same time. I think Eloy would probably get into a game before Lance would, because they're probably going to go 5 days from the live BP yesterday. But they're going to go down there basically the same time. So he outlined that Lance will need, to make 3 starts, and that will require 15 days, roughly 2 weeks, right? And then he basically said Eloy will need significantly less than that. So maybe you're looking at a week, maybe, that would be just a guess, but roughly a week. Eloy obviously not in the same boat necessarily as Yoan Moncada, because Yoan hadn't played at all this season.
Right.
Eloy has played. So maybe, and also Eloy has been described as just looking fantastic during this whole rehab process. So maybe he's a little further along than Moncada was when he had to do his rehab assignment coming back from the oblique.
Well, and we saw Andrew Vaughn. They were pretty quick to call him up. He played 2 games, hit 2 home runs, and then they called him up. So maybe they have a quick trigger with Eloy as well.
I'll tell you, though, I want to see Eloy put on that Charlotte Knights night helmet.
Yes.
Yes.
He's got to at least clear the fence so he can put that helmet on. And he'll become a new character.
He seems like the kind of guy, too, that maybe would just go wear it in the outfield also, which would also be wonderful to see.
Well, and his favorite movie is The Mask, so that works for The Mask. Final one.
His favorite movie is The Mask.
Yeah,
amazing.
And just picture Eloy saying, gleefully, his favorite movie is The Mask.
Yeah.
Final one. I hope you're getting some credits from the White Sox advertising campaign, because from allchgo.com, Tim Anderson stands out as a face of baseball from Vinnie Duber, filed after Sunday's game, and now they're rolling out the Face of Baseball campaign for Tim Anderson. Pretty cool to see that today, and people are gonna be seeing that on the billboards along the I-90s, right?
Yeah, I think it said from Bucktown all the way down to the park. So that means I'll see every single one of them on my commute every single day from the north side to the south side. So there you go. And then on the L too, I think on all L lines. So if you are commuting to work, whether you're going via automobile or mass transit, you're going to see a lot of Tim Anderson.
And that's not a bad thing. And we've been seeing a lot of Vinnie Duber, which is also not a bad thing. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's the CHGO White Sox beat writer, and you can find all of his work at allchgo.com. Thanks, Vinnie. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
See you, Vinnie.
And if you want to help support CHGO and all of Vinny's great work, you can help us continue to grow by downloading the PointsBet app and using code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. The article where Vinny talks about Tim Anderson becoming the face of baseball, that is behind a paywall, and members of CHGO get to read that. The article Vinny just wrote about Michael Kopech and his fit into the rotation, Michael Kopech, Lance Lynn, and what comes next for the White Sox starting rotation. You get access to that article when you become a member. And again, this is the best promo deal we have for you. $50 or more for a first-time deposit at PointsBet when you use the code CHGO, and it unlocks a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up at the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet, live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And
Sean, have you seen The Mask?
No, I have not.
I mean, it's an all right movie. It's not Jim Carrey's best movie. If he would have said Mask, the Rocky Dennis movie with Eric Stoltz and Cher, I'd be like, okay, I get it. That's a good movie. The Mask is not a good movie. It's a all right movie with Cameron Diaz and Jim Carrey.
But that's Eloy's favorite. Hey, man. I mean, he probably saw it when he was a young whippersnapper, and, he just fell in love with that old Cam Diaz. And we got to mention, too, PointsBet pick of the week. It's going to be Michael Wacha under K's tomorrow. I bet Rich Hill under K's today. It was under 3.5. That was plus money as well, and it cashed. Herb. Michael Wacha, I'm assuming the line will be set around 4.5, maybe 3.5. In his last 2 games, 3 strikeouts, 2 strikeouts when he faced off against Tampa back in April 22nd, 3 strikeouts. He's had 3 performances where he's had 5 or 4 or more Ks, but he's not a guy that's going to get up to like 6 or 7. And you could just see with the White Sox today, they're going to put a lot of balls into play, even if they're not hardly hit. But yeah, we got some Mask fans in the comments, I guess.
I mean, if that's your it's not a bad movie. I'm just saying it should never be anybody's favorite movie. If you go to Jim Carrey right now, he'd be like, no, that's like the worst movie I've ever done. Even worse than Cable Guy.
I've never seen Cable Guy.
Ugh.
I haven't been able to get through what's the one where he's the TV character? The Truman Show?
Oh, Truman Show.
Yeah. I haven't been able to get through that one.
It's pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. You know what I like?
His
I
best
like
one is the Eternal Spotlight of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, that one looks good. It looks
really
also
good.
very sad. I haven't seen that one.
It is. And great acting by him. And I want to say Rachel Weisz, but it's not. It's the other English lady.
Rachel McPherson?
No, I got to look up her name.
Kate Winslet.
She's always naked in movies.
Oh, good for her.
It is Kate Winslet.
Bruce Almighty was decent. I'd never seen Ace Ventura. I really haven't seen a ton of Jim Carrey, so I don't think we should go deep on Jim Carrey. I did see someone mention Yes Man. Yes Man, decent flick.
I don't know what that is.
I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. Come on. He sings Third Eye Blind to somebody who wants to kill himself.
What a great song. I love Jumper.
Yeah.
Great album, 3EB.
Yeah. So Red Sox and White Sox. Sox are now 4-1 against the Red Sox this year. I'm pretty shocked by that. And also blank name saying Sean's right. Just found an article saying that The Mask is his favorite movie. Hello, I was there at the score when he said it live on air, cutting up the tape, people. Come on. I've been living it like Les Grobstein. I was there when Eloy said The Mask was his favorite movie.
I mean, it's real terrible. What was it? During like Hit and Run or something like that?
No,
or you just cutting up tape during Actualities.
For some reason, of course, I remember it was after Actualities. It was during Parkins and Spiegel, but I think at that time it was probably Spiegel or it was Parkins and Mac. It was after the Thanks Cubs home run. It was the day after he hit the Thanks Cubs home run. They put him on the score, and then he was talking to Mac and Parkins, and that's when he was like, "Oh yeah, The Mask, I love it. It's my favorite movie." And you know how me and Tanny get with certain things that White Sox players say,
and you continue playing it every time.
Exactly,
it works.
Yes, it does work, and very interesting. Real quick to hear from Vinnie Duber talk about Yohan Moncada that way, just because Vinnie is usually pretty. He's not, and I wouldn't even say that was inflammatory. I mean, he's just telling the truth. But even just for him to be that kind of, yes, he is struggling. Vinny is usually our eternal optimist. Kind of, surprising to hear Vinny talk like that. No,
I mean, Vinny has eyes. Vinny can see.
Vinny does have eyes. That's true.
Yeah, he has. He can see the truth right there. I mean, when you saw Jose Abreu struggling, you saw the numbers on the other side. It's like he's hitting the ball hard. He's still doing things that are the correct approach. The results might not be good. Anybody could see that Yohan Moncada is absolutely lost. His thing is not to strike out as many times as he did, even though he did in 2018. He led the league, I believe, in strikeouts, but he's reverted back to that guy where he's not taking pitches well. He's not seeing the ball deep. You said in the pregame, it was very surprising to hit a home run off a 99-mile-per-hour pitch because that's not his game. Usually a little slower speed, off-speed pitch that is ill-located, he'll crush. He's not doing that this year. He's just off totally. And yes, I saw the people like, he's still a top 5 for third baseman. Yeah. Like when he does play at the peak of his powers, yes, I believe so. That's why it's so disappointing right now to see Yohan Moncada not be the guy. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. It's odd. I don't think that he is this guy. If I did, I would think they should ship him off to somewhere else. I have hope that I want him to sit down tomorrow. Just chill out. Have a day off. Get your mind right. So that'd be 2 days off because the White Sox have an automatic Friday off. And then before they start the Cubs series. So just get your mind right. You're in a slump. There's no reason to put yourself in more of a slump with Michael Walker out there. And he might provide all the 4 strikeouts that Michael Walker needs to go over on your bet right there, Sean. So yeah, have a good day off. Get your mind right. Get cleared up, whatever you need to do. But because 400 on base plus slugging, no, that's not Yohan Moncada. 400 on base is Yohan Moncada, and he's not near that. He's not even in that neighborhood.
Well, and he's like, I mean, even in the last at bat he has, he's swinging out of his helmet. I mean, it's like he's trying, and it's just try and try as he must. Like it's not coming through. And Blank Name says he made a couple great defensive plays tonight, and that's why I think it might not be injury. I think he's just like in his damn head. I don't know if Yoanna's a player that gets like this, but I mean, it just feels very much in his head. It feels like he's pressing and he has two nice nights, and then it just feels like, all right, well, now I got to do this every night or something like that. I mean, like this is just, it's lost out there. I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel like the same patient Yoan Moncada. You're not seeing the walks that you saw back in 2021. I mean, it's just a completely different guy to the point where it has to go up because he's been so bad. Like it's only up from here.
Yeah, he's been horrible. His on-base percentage, I think, is 171. That's not Yoan Moncada. Not even in any struggling year, he's still a guy who gets on base via the walk. This year, he's not doing it, and you could tell, like, easy pitches. He's missing balls right in the zone. And the Tanner Houck, he made sweet love to him to steal a line from Chris Tannehill. He made sweet love to him in that strikeout there, but I twice actually. I just don't know what's going on with him. I hope whatever's ailing him, he just gets out and just enjoys life. Start playing your music again. Do that as your walk-up sound. Have a great time. You made a banger of a song. Have a great time with that. Enjoy life. And it seems like he's not having a fun time at bat, and that's not Yoan Moncada's game. The glove always plays. Always. That hardly takes a slump.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think there's any need to move him to second base and then have Jake Berger play third base. Yoan Moncada is very comfortable at third base, so I don't think that there's a reason to pull him away from third base. It just you got to hope he starts hitting, and that's the thing. Hopefully, he just starts finding a little bit more comfortability in the box. Hopefully he's able to draw some more walks, and then he's able to start attacking. And Danny Murray saying the walk seems like a whole team wide issue. No one is taking walks. That's absolutely true, Danny. And let's play a fun game, Herb, because this is now the 10th game where the White Sox had 5 hits or less. And you mentioned that, or I think Vinnie did. It was like they had 5 hits, but they still won the game, and that's all that matters, which is true. But they've now had 10 games where they've had 5 hits or less. Do you want to guess their record?
10 games, 5 hits or less. I would say the White Sox, and knowing the White Sox, I'll just go right down the middle. I'll say actually 4-6.
2-8.
Okay, so that seems more. Seems more like Major League average.
So yeah, definitely around Major League average, but it's still, I mean, it's surprising that they've even won 2 of those games, and it feels like it's surprising that there's been at least 10 of those. This is also the 26th game where they've had 2 walks or less. So just more struggles for the team wide. Again, it is team wide. It's Yoan Moncada, it's Yasmani Grandal, it's Adam Engel, it's Josh Harrison, it's Leary Garcia, it's Reese McGuire. They're really the only people that you can't say are struggling at this point. Tim Anderson, and feels like Jose Abreu's gotten out of it. Jake Berger too.
Yeah, I mean, Jose Abreu had 2 walks, had that double to start off the scoring in that 5th inning. So yeah, I think he's starting to inject a little bit more flavor into the offense by taking the free passes. I don't think many White Sox are allowing pitchers to give him free passes. I know Moncada's not. It seems like he's 0-2 every single damn time. And then just taking strike 3 so many times. It reminds me of 2018 where he had the most called third strikes in the league and also the most strikeouts in the game with over 200. This team needs to just be patient. Let the ball come to them. Let the action come to them. Unless you're Tim Anderson, he can do what the fuck he wants because his track record shows that he's an aggressive hitter and it works for him. Josh Harrison, stop doing that.
Yeah,
Andrew Vaughn, you could do whatever you want because you're actually hitting the ball really hard. I'm glad. Need to stay up to that 2, 3, 4 spot for Andrew Vaughn for the rest of the season because I think that's where he does the most damage. Not that second leadoff hitter garbage, but I think Jose Abreu is leading the team to more of an offensive explosion with his walks, and same thing with Timmy, just getting on base in general.
I'd love to see more walks from Andrew Vaughn. I think I feel a little bit more comfortable in him coming into his own once we start seeing more walks. But overall, I think he's been fine. And still, it wasn't the greatest offensive performance for the Sox. Again, only 2 hard hit balls off Rich Hill, but one of them mattered, and that's all that matters. It was the 3-run homer from Jake Berger. Real
You're
quick,
right about Andrew Vaughn. I think he's only got what 6 walks this year.
Yeah.
Oh, in 27 games. Yeah, you got to see more pitches. You got to see more. I mean, he's on base is 347, so it's a decent on base. But if you see more walks, I think you as a player, as Jose Abreu has shown you, you see better pitches eventually because the pitchers know that you're not just be out there flailing for anything they throw up there.
And Fred's asking, I wonder what Moncada's numbers have been post-extension. He signed that right before the 2020 season. So from 2020 to 2022, 209 games, not including tonight, 42 doubles, 22 home runs, 89 RBIs, a batting average of 247, an OBP of 250, a slugging of 396, an OPS of 746, and an OPS plus of 106.
You say OBP of 2?
No. Okay. Batting average of 247, OBP of 350,
okay.
Slugging 396, OPS 746, OPS plus 106. So he's been an above average hitter, and he's, glove wise has been fantastic. So, the hitting has been disappointing. I think that's why you see so much vitriol towards Yoan Moncada, whether it be, people complaining that, walks aren't that important. He needs to see more hits and doubles. At this point, he's not getting on base in any fashion. So something needs to happen. Some improvement needs to happen for Yoan Moncada. All right, let's go to Lucas Giolito real quick. Let's talk about his night. He said that he really couldn't find his fastball. That shows in the classic stats that we usually go to. 6 innings pitched for Giolito today, 1 earned run, 5 hits allowed, 4 walks, and 7 Ks. Rich Hill, 5 innings pitched, 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 walk allowed, and 1 K. Let's go to Lucas's pitch mix because it kind of shows you the lack of control he had with his four-seam fastball. The stat we love is called strikes plus whiffs, and you can see it's at 23% on his four-seam fastball. Only 4 called strikes on 43 pitches from Lucas Giolito. Just wasn't able to find the zone, but still a good performance tonight, and that was mainly because of his slider. 69% whiff rate. Nice. On his slider, 9 whiffs on 13 swings. That is a dominant slider. Really great to see from Lucas Giolito. 41% called strike plus whiff percent on his slider. Major league average is 27%. On his changeup, he had a called strike plus whiff percentage of 36%. So if you're wondering, if he doesn't have his fastball, can he beat an above average hitting team with just 2 pitches? That's not his fastball. The answer is yes. He looked phenomenal with just those 2 pitches tonight. Great stuff from Lucas Giolito.
And I said, this is the testament of a great pitcher. When you don't have your stuff, and I don't know how I would grade his stuff today. Like, he knew, firstly, he couldn't find the fastball, and he knew if he did find the fastball, that the Boston Red Sox hitters would attack it. We saw that high hit by, I think it was Enrique Hernandez, who hit the ball like head high. It was a fastball 94 miles per hour, and he rocketed it to left field. So, yes, he knew that Boston's a fastball hitting team, and he didn't have his premium fastball. At least they were just following it off. And I saw one at bat versus JD Martinez, and he was just like, nah, 3-2, nah. I'm just going to see if he chases it. I'm going to pretty much dirt it. If he chases, he chases. If he doesn't, cool, I'll just walk him. And that's what a smart pitcher does. He understands who's going against him. And JD Martinez was having an awesome day. He was just rocking the ball all day long. And Lucas was getting hit hard all day long. Like I said with Vinnie, in the first 4 innings, he led on 2 base runners or more in each of those innings, only giving up that 1 run on the Verdugo opposite field, 71 miles per hour exit velocity single to left field. That is doing the best you can with the worst pitching that you have, or the subpar pitching that you have. That's what a champion pitcher does. That's what a Cy Young pitcher does. He lowered his ERA from 2.84 to 2.63 with not terrible, just mediocre stuff.
Yeah.
If the fastball's not working, that is really hard to go through 6 innings and strike out 7. He walked 4 people because he didn't have it. That is a testament of a guy that knows how to pitch, and to the team he's pitching. He's studied the Red Sox, and he wondered, like, how do I get out of this? I mean, remember last year's start early in the morning on Patriots Day, gave up 7 earned runs. And he probably had that in the back of his head. It's like, these some bitches got to me last year. I'm not going to let it happen this year, even though they're Boston Red Sox on the bases all the time.
Yeah, it was a great job working out of jams. And you mentioned you weren't sure like what to rate his stuff. I think I'd probably put it around a B. I think I gave Dylan's stuff like a C plus. It was probably like a C minus, a D plus yesterday. Yeah, Giolito, the fact that he had his slider and his changeup on, he was still able to make it work. So I'd still give him around a B minus and C plus for stuff tonight.
I mean, he made other people look silly. I think Devers in the first inning with that high fastball strikeout was great. And then a slider inside, I forgot who it was. I think it was to Verdugo that made him look silly also. So, yes, he had a couple times where his stuff, like the slider and the changeup, were working, but no one was like checking for his fastball except for that Devers pitch right there. That's just what we keep on getting reintroduced to, the actual ace of this staff. We talk about Michael Kopech, and his ERA is great, and he pitched the best start in White Sox 2022 on Sunday versus the Yankees. But consistently, we see Lucas Giolito be the guy.
Right. And I mean, again, like it's probably more consistent. Giolito will have his fastball. And if he has all three of those pitches, you're going to get more consistency out of those three pitches than you'll get out of consistency out of Kopech's fastball, slider, and curve. All right. We're about here ready to wrap it up here. I just want to note Aaron Bummer looked good in relief today. He faced two batters. Well, I guess he faced three batters. Did allow one to get on with a hit, but for the most part, Aaron Bummer looked like Aaron Bummer. Kendall Graveman looked okay, but he got the job done.
Forgot to ask Vinny about him shaving.
Oh yeah, he did shave. He looked a little weird.
Kendall Graveman looked really weird.
Joe Kelly got 2 strikeouts, looked great, and then left with a hamstring. We'll know more in the morning. And Liam Hendricks got a 4-out save, and for the most part, looked like Liam Hendricks. Any final thoughts here, Herb, before we wrap this up? And we do it again tomorrow at 7:10.
I like Joe Kelly messing with timing, but it looked like the messing with timing on the strikeout kind of messed him up, and he had some tweak in his hamstring. This White Sox and this soft tissue things, especially the hamstring, is getting a little worrisome. I don't know what they're doing with the training staff. They already fired Alec Thomas last year. Whatever they're doing, do the opposite, because too many of these soft tissue injuries for the White Sox coming up this year.
White Sox are 4.5 games back. Minnesota lost today. Minnesota's 8-2 in their last 10. Minnesota, they lost against the Detroit Tigers today. They're 27-17. Sox improved to 22-21. They're 4.5 games back up. Minnesota Sox are 6-4 in their last 10 and have won one straight. It is not Lucas Giolito tomorrow. It is Dallas Keuchel.
Yes, it is.
Dallas Keuchel versus Michael Wacha tomorrow, 7:10 p.m. Sox versus Sox again. We will see if the White Sox can improve to 5-1 tomorrow against the Boston Red Sox. Thank you, Jason, for hanging out. Thank you, GDM17 for hanging out. Thank you, Blank Name, for hanging out. Eric for hanging out. Our guy Eli was in here earlier. Shout out to Vinny for joining us from Guaranteed Rate Field. You can follow Vinnie Duber on Twitter at Vinnie Duber and read his work on allchgo.com. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow Herb Lawrence on Twitter at Acnerwall23. He is the CHGO community leader. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show on Twitter by Fred. You can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. And we were produced today by our good old producer, Stephen Nicholas. That will do it for today's show. We will join you tomorrow for a pregame of Keuchel versus Wacha, and we will also be doing a postgame for you as well. Saturday and Sunday, we'll have pre and post for Cubs White Sox with an off day on Friday. It should be fun, and we'll see if the White Sox can take another series from the Red Sox tomorrow. For Herb Lawrence, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And go Sox. And also thank you, Fleetwood Mac, for your 1979 album, Tusk. I heard Jason and Steve mentioning Fleetwood Mac. Obviously, they forgot to mention Tusk, but I'll do it here for them right now. Go Sox.